Newscast.
Good evening. I am Tashran Tyson in with your very Major News package for today, Monday 21st January 2019. In our lead stories, nationally, legislation on overseas voters is still not complete, and Nevis Island administration to revamp agricultural and distribution policy. Regionally, earthquake rattles several Caribbean countries. Internationally, Democrat Kamala Harris announces U.S. presidential run. And in sports, Warriors beat Clippers 112-94 for its seventh straight victory. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. What is the update on the amendment to the National Assembly Act? On March 28, 2018, the National Assembly Elections Amendment Bill 2017 was given its first reading and seeks to amend Section 37A, replacing the expression ordinarily resident on the registration date with the words ordinarily resident for at least 6 months before the registration date. Last Wednesday, Attorney General the Honorable Vincent Byron provided an update on the matter, and this is what he had to say.
There is yet to be a second reading. There has been a period of discussion nationally, and we have had representations by different people. The matter is yet to have its final edits done by Cabinet of Ministers who are still in discussion, and we expect that very shortly this will be concluded and the matter will be placed before the National Assembly. As such, there are still these ongoing discussions as to what the final form of the amendment to the National Assembly Act would take. The general discussion, as you would have mentioned, centers around whether there would be a residency requirement required for one to be registered as a voter for an election in St. Kitts and Nevis. Currently, and we expect still, all citizens would be qualified and eligible to be registered to vote, but the question then pertains whether it will now be added to that residency requirement. This still has to be determined before we move forward.
Attorney General the Honorable Vincent Byron. The Nevis Island administration is moving to revamp its land distribution policy as it relates to the agricultural sector. Speaking during the opening ceremony of Agenda 2019, Minister of Agriculture and Lands, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, disclosed that in excess of 120 acres across the island have been distributed to livestock and crop farmers. The Agriculture Minister also revealed that less than 20% of the lands were under production annually.
Farmers have been in the possession of government lands for many years, and these lands are on the grass or shrubs, bushes, and have not been used to the benefit of the development of the sector. Obviously, as a result of our disappointment in this regard, we took the decision to revamp our land lease policy, where farmers now can get a 5-year lease. This, we think, would give farmers security of tenure as well as some equity when they approach a lending institution.
Minister of Agriculture and Lands, Honorable Alexis Jeffers. Some 46 matters will come before the Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal during a one-week sitting in Basseterre next week. 2 panels of 3 appeal court judges will hear a number of matters between January 29th and February 1st at the Sir Lee Llewellyn Moore Judicial and Legal Services Complex. This, when the Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal holds a one-week sitting in Basseterre. The appeal court judges will deal with 5 applications or motions: 1 High Court criminal appeal against sentence, 2 High Court criminal appeals against conviction, 8 High Court civil appeals, 2 magisterial criminal appeals against sentence, 3 magisterial appeals against conviction, and 6 magisterial civil appeals. They will also deal with status hearings on 8 High Court criminal appeals, 6 magisterial civil appeals, 6 High Court civil appeals, and 2 magisterial civil appeals. St. Kitts and Nevis and the Republic of China Taiwan have signed a new 5-year bilateral cooperation agreement. Resident Ambassador from the Republic of China Taiwan, His Excellency Tom Lee, said that the agreement is very significant because it establishes a framework for all technical cooperation and projects in the Federation. It also authorizes the government to send technical missions to the island to implement the projects. The two countries established diplomatic relations in 1983, making them mutually the oldest diplomatic allies. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Venerable Mark Brantley, said the signing of the agreement renews the country's pledges to each other, while he extended his gratitude to Resident Ambassador of the Republic of China to St. Kitts and Nevis, His Excellency Tom Lee, for maintaining the well-established relationship. 15-year-old Jashondi Nisbet of Gillard Meadows in St. Kitts is said to have been located, according to police. The VON Newsline received reports earlier today on Monday, January 21st, of Jashondi being last seen at his home in the Gillard Meadows area in St. Kitts on Saturday, January 19th. The Special Victims Unit, SVU, of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force confirmed today, January 21st, that he has been located. More will be provided on this story as it develops. A joint communication sensitization session in St. Kitts and Nevis on January 18, 2019 was held for the benefit of air carriers, shipping agents, and other cargo-related stakeholders, as well as customs officials, was hosted by CARICOM Impacts. The CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security Impacts, through the support of the 10th European Development Fund, has been actively engaged with the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, in order to facilitate implementation of an Advanced Cargo Information Systems, ACIS, in member states. This regional centralized system will be fully integrated with the existing ASYCUDA, the Automated System for Customs Data, systems currently operational in all member states. It will allow for the electronic submission of all cargo manifests seamlessly to the regional centralized system. The benefits to be gained from the new system by custom officers are real-time notification and pre-alerts, access to regional and international sources of intelligence, strengthening local risk management of operations, enhanced information sharing amongst law enforcement agencies, and optimized use of human and financial resources. The following issuance of a Caribbean dengue alert, residents here in St. Kitts and Nevis are being urged to take all necessary measures to protect themselves and eliminate all breeding places. Dengue fever is a viral disease of the tropics, transmitted by mosquitoes and causing sudden fever and severe pains in the joints. It is transferred by the Aedes aegypti mosquito and is also the mosquito which transfers Zika and chikungunya. The VON Newsline spoke with medical officer here in Nevis, Dr. Judy Nisbet, who urged persons not to ingest certain drugs.
There's no cure or vaccine for dengue fever, and we advise persons who have pain to take only Paramol or Tylenol for pain, and do not take aspirin or ibuprofen or Voltaren. We have not had any reports of dengue fever, but we are remaining vigilant, and we have stepped up our surveillance for these types of symptoms in our health care facilities.
Medical Officer here in Nevis, Dr. Judy Nisbet. And finally, police took the first illegal firearm for the year into custody early Saturday morning, January 19th. During an early morning search operation, one Smith & Wesson pistol with 5 rounds of ammunition was found in a vehicle along Victoria Road. Reports are that motor car with registration number R761 with 4 occupants on board, namely DeAndre Brown of New Road, Keon Morton of McKnight, Kevin Gaskin of New Road, and Isaiah Richin of Newtown, was stopped and searched on Victoria Road. During the search, Gaskin and Morton are reported to have run away from the scene. Brown and Richin were taken into custody. Investigations into the matter continue. That's the national news segment. News from across the region is next.
Something different to everyone. It's a place you love, a place as unique as you are, a place where you can be yourselves, a place for life's big surprises, and not to mention the small ones. Moments to cherish and moments that last a lifetime. It's a place for nurture and a place where you can grow together. It's home. So whether you're building, purchasing, or renovating, the Bank of Nevis is here to open the door, giving you the confidence to dream and the help you need to get there with a mortgage loan from the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Welcome back on all the regional news in detail. An earthquake with a magnitude of 4.2 rattled several Caribbean islands on Monday, but there were no immediate reports of danger or injuries. The Trinidad-based Seismic Research Center, SRC, of the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies, UWI, which has been warned in the region to be prepared for a major quake, said that the tremor occurred at 10:42 a.m. and was felt in Guadeloupe, Dominica, and Antigua and Barbuda. SRC said that the quake had a depth of 10 kilometers and was located latitude 15.83 degrees north, longitude 61.65 degrees west. It was recorded 48 kilometers south-southwest of Pointe-à-Pitre, Guadeloupe, 65 kilometers northwest of the Dominican capital Roseau, and 143 kilometers south St. John's, Antigua and Barbuda. Caribbean countries have in recent months been experiencing tremors almost on a daily basis, and the SRC has warned that the region is long overdue a major quake. An earthquake struck Haiti in 2010 with a magnitude of 7.0 and killed more than 200,000 people. The body of a male of East Indian descent that was discovered with a single bullet wound to the head on Monday, January 14th in Guyana, is said to be that of Nitinda Umrasing, a rice exporter from neighboring Suriname. While Guyanese police are still awaiting official identification, family members of the deceased have identified him from photographs that were circulating on social media after the discovery. Umrasing was named a person of interest by the Surinamese police in the investigation of 2,300 kilos of cocaine seizure last week at the Jules Sydney port in Paramaribo. While he was not regarded as a suspect as yet, Acting Police Commissioner Roberta Prud said during a press conference on Saturday that the exporter was wanted for questioning. Out of St. Lucia. Bandits attacked 2 German cruise ship visitors who had just exited Serenity Park, Castries, according to law enforcement sources. The tourists, a mother and her daughter, were attacked sometime between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Saturday, January 19th, which has been the scene of a number of robberies and attempted robberies over the past months, according to sources. The assailants tried to steal a pouch from the mother, but were unsuccessful as screams from the duo attracted attention from persons nearby. The visitors have since returned to the ship. Out of the British Virgin Islands. Government issued drinkable water on Just Van Dyke could be restored to residents' pipelines in the next few days, Works Minister Mark Vanterpool has said. He said heavy construction works on a new reservoir ended in mid-December. According to Mr. Vanterpool, the final connections are now being done and should be completed by the end of this month. Residents of that island have been on a limited water supply since the 2017 hurricanes, when their sole reservoir was destroyed. This limited supply of water is being distributed to residents from private storage facilities belonging to Seren Black, a resident on the island. Out of Grenada. A woman alleged to have stolen a winning lottery ticket in the sum of $10,200 has been granted bail. Charges of stealing and conspiring to steal one winning lottery ticket, the property of the National Lotteries Authority, was laid against 26-year-old Renee Charles. The offenses are alleged to have been committed between November 26, 2018 and December 1st, 2018. And finally, out of Barbados. Prime Minister Mia Mottley has given the assurance that neither the current Barbados Labour Party BLP administration nor any future governments will be allowed to operate under the cover of night. In a fiery contribution to close off debate on the Public Finance Management Bill 2019, Mottley promised that all politicians and ministers will be held accountable for their actions in the future. Mottley said the bill was necessary when, under the former DLP administration, Barbados moved from $6 billion in debt to $15 billion in debt with nothing to show for it. Describing the bill as one of the most important pieces of legislation that will be passed in a post-independence Barbados, Mottley said the bill would place a cap on contingencies, prevent the Central Bank of Barbados from overprinting money, and would also allow for an independent audit of government's finances. That's it for Regional Stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Democratic Senator Kamala Harris, who represents California, says she will run for president in the 2020 election. Senator Harris, who was elected in 2016, previously served as the state's Attorney General. A vocal critic of President Donald Trump, she is the 5th Democrat to join the battle for the party's nomination in the 2020 election. Elizabeth Warren, Kirsten Gillibrand, Tulsi Gabbard, and John Delaney have also announced they are intending to run. The 2020 Democratic presidential primary will be the first time more than one woman competes for the party's nomination. South Africa has said it rejected a request from Zimbabwe for an emergency loan of $1.2 billion in December. Zimbabwe's government had hoped the cash would help stabilize the economy and resolve fuel shortages in the country. South Africa did not have that kind of money, a Treasury spokesman said. A fuel price hike imposed shortly after the request was rejected has led to violent clashes. The opposition says 4 of its MPs have been detained. The leader of Zimbabwe's opposition movement for democratic change, MDC party, Nelson Chamisa, said the country's economic decline was caused by turmoil.
The economy is totally going southwards. The economic meltdown is a manifestation of the absence of confidence in the market, but absence of confidence is necessitated by the political crisis and the political stalemate in the country. You can't have economic viability where there's no political stability.
WhatsApp is limiting all its members to forwarding any single message up to 5 times in an effort to tackle the spread of false information on the platform. The Facebook-owned business had already introduced the policy in India 6 months ago. Until now, users elsewhere could forward messages up to 20 times. The update to the app's rules was announced at an event in Jakarta, Indonesia. The country is holding its general election in April. U.S. singer R. Kelly and the Sony-owned RCA record label have ended their working relationship, U.S. media report. Variety website quoted a source as saying no official announcement of the decision was planned. The reported split follows decades of sexual abuse allegations brought against the 52-year-old Grammy-winning artist, all of which he denies. Finally, the World Health Organization's first ever report into the health of refugees and migrants in Europe has warned that they face a greater than average risk to poorer health. Here is more in this report.
Refugees and migrants taking the risky journey to Europe tend to be young and healthy, but the level of poverty and length of stay in host countries raises the risk. Depression and anxiety are common, but the WHO says the number of migrants arriving with communicable diseases, such as HIV or tuberculosis, is low, and therefore the risk of communication to the host population is also very low. The WHO is calling for timely and culturally sensitive access to healthcare for migrants.
That's it for our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Most of us spend the better part of each weekday at the workplace. So why not make your office environment the kind of setting that helps you function at your personal best by outfitting it with top quality furniture, high-end photocopiers, printers, versatile office supplies, and the latest technology. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at the TDC Business Center are happy to provide you with personalized service to help you create an office space that's the total package. TDC Business Center, providing solutions that work.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In basketball, Stephen Curry scored 28 points. DeMarcus Cousins added 14 before falling out of his Warriors debut after being sidelined for nearly a year. And Golden State pulled away in the third quarter to beat the Los Angeles Clippers 112-94 on Friday night for its 7th straight victory and 6th in a row on the road. Elsewhere, Kemba Walker scored 21 points. Jeremy Lamb hit 5 3-pointers and had 18 points, and the Charlotte Hornets beat the Phoenix Suns 135-115 on Saturday for their 3rd straight victory. Meantime, New Orleans Pelicans forward Anthony Davis sustained a left index finger sprain. The injury occurred during the 4th quarter of last night's game at Portland. Davis is expected to be out approximately 1 to 2 weeks. In local sports, the Nevis Masters engaged their counterparts from St. Kitts on Saturday in a benefit match for Nevis Masters cricketer Teddy Blackman-Liburd, who is warded at the hospital in Barbados in a critical state due to a vehicular accident. Summarized scores: St. Kitts Masters 188 for 7, Greg Stanley 75, Jay Patel 27, Codville Rogers 25, Philip Webb 24 not out, Stuart Williams 4 for 35, Rakesh Subnaring and Dennis Clark 1 wicket each. Nevis Masters 164 for 8, Rakesh Subnaring 41, Junior Mills 31, Adi Liburd 25, Wendell Wallace 20 not out, Stuart Williams 18. Leon Clark 3 for 21, Jason Sadler 2 for 20, Kenny Douglas 2 for 38, Shane Jeffers 1 for 35. St. Kitts Masters won by 24 runs. In tennis, Serena Williams outlined why she is the favorite to win the Australian Open with a 6-1, 4-6, 6-4 win over top seed Simona Halep in a high-quality last 16 match. The 37-year-old American dismantled Halep's game to race to the opening set in 20 minutes. Romania's Halep, 27, recovered in their second, breaking in what proved to be the final game. Williams, seeded 16th, saved 3 break points for 3-all in the decider, crucially winning the next game to seize control. Still in tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic reached the Australian Open quarterfinals for the first time since 2016 with a hard-fought win over Daniil Medvedev. The 31-year-old Serb earned a 6-4, 6-7, 5-7, 6-2, 6-3 victory over the 15th seed in Melbourne. Djokovic was not at his fluent best, but outlasted Medvedev to win in 3 hours and 15 minutes. Russia's Medvedev, 22, grew frustrated as he paid the price for only taking 2 of 9 break points. And finally, Barbados Pride expectedly cruised to an easy victory over Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, defeating them by 7 wickets in their 5th round match in the regional 4-day championships at Brian Lara Cricket Stadium on Saturday. Having started the day in full control of the match by restricting the Red Force to 62 for 6 at the end of the second day's play, the Pride skittled out of the home side for just 103, with medium pacer Shamash Springer claiming 3 of the 4 wickets to fall. Needing just 58 runs for victory after securing a 45-run first innings lead, the visitors then romped to an easy win, finishing on 58 for 3 in 17 overs. Scores: Red Force 170 and 103. Barbados Pride 215 and 58 for 3. That's it for sports. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a 30% or low chance of showers. Winds are east at 15 to 24 kilometers per hour or 8 to 13 knots. Seas are 1.2 to 1.5 meters or 4 to 5 feet. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:33 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Monday 21st January 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, legislation on overseas waters still not complete, and Nevis Island administration to revamp agricultural land distribution policy. Regionally, earthquake rattles several Caribbean countries. Internationally, Democrat Kamala Harris announces U.S. presidential run. And in sports, Warriors beat Clippers 112-94 for its 7th straight victory. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.